different businesses that we've got. And thank you very much, Rob, for hitting the record button. So Claire, over to you, and I'll kind of give you a bit of a nudge about, 10, 15 minutes out from the end to allow time for questions.
Absolutely, and we've definitely planned for that, but it's a wise thing when you have a group of academics in the room to remind us about the time for sure. So what we've put together is a bit of a programme, just taking you through very much a little bit about the university and the department, and then how we can actually support the range of businesses from SMEs right through. So Solent University, we're really proud. Recently, we've been awarded the TEF Gold. Now, that probably doesn't mean that much to people on the call, but just to explain it, TEF is like the equivalent of Ofsted, but for higher education. And we've actually had 3 golds, which is like having 3 outstandings all in one report. And that means that, our teaching and learning is excellent, our student outcomes are excellent, and the student experience is excellent. So that's really important for us. The other piece is we're 11th in the UK for graduate startups. So we're really, we have a wealth of experience of supporting graduates, but also businesses in their startup. And we've been in the top 15 for the last 8 years. We're in the top 20% in the UK for assessment and feedback, and then 6th in the UK for sustained employability. Across the courses, we have equally fantastic outputs. Our law courses are actually 8th in the UK this year, something we're very proud of. Business, we're in the top 15 in the UK for teaching, and accountancy and finance in the top 20% for supporting students through their assessment and feedback, which is important to understand that universities don't just teach, we are there to actually support, and those kind of outcomes really show that. We have a really diverse community of students and staff. Across our department, we have 57 nationalities across our student base, which is fantastic, because you can imagine the conversations in classrooms where we can bring in literally the global perspective just in that room is fantastic. We have a wide range of your traditional UG undergraduate and postgraduate courses, as you would expect from a business and a law school, and our law, our LLBs, and also a really big portfolio of masters of postgraduate programs, which again, some of your members might not have actually considered, but it's something to, if you're looking to upskill or change your job areas, that's something to look at. But we are also really proud to have our full range of professional courses, including our higher degree apprenticeships, which are based around business and leadership, and also our Help to Grow programme. And I won't say any more, because otherwise I'll be stealing the thunder of the people that are on the call. We work with a huge range of professional bodies, because you can't have a business and law school that doesn't stay connected and in touch. So we work with the Chartered Management Institute, and actually we're their Outstanding Partner of the Year. We won that award last year, which we're really proud of. But we also work with accountancy and finance, professional bodies, law, project management, because that makes sure that we are actually completely up to date. But that's why we also like working with businesses, because then when they come in and do live briefs, we find out lots about the industry. You'll meet lots of the people today on this call, but we do have a team of research and industry practice-based course teams, which is again really important for us, that we are really excellent teachers and academics, but we all do have that industry background as well. We also, though, push our students to be industry and research led. We give them lots of opportunities for live briefs and to work across Europe on competitions, and also undertake research themselves in our student research conference too. Again, we've got Wisney who's going to talk that through in much more detail. So one of the reasons that I asked whether we could come and talk to your members is because there is a little bit, I think, of a fear factor when people talk about working with universities. And I really want to break down some of those myths and barriers today. But equally, I know it's a really tough landscape out there, particularly for SMEs. And universities really can play a key part in that sustainable growth, and through our knowledge transfer partnerships, through our knowledge exchange programs, but also through programs like Help to Grow and the higher degree apprenticeship. So I'm hoping by the end of hearing what all of my colleagues can do and help and support, it might encourage some of your members to really connect with us, and so we can have those conversations onwards about how we can support them. So I'd like to hand over to my colleagues Matt and Meher, who are going to take you through some details about Help to Grow. Matt, Meher, just let me know when you want me to nudge the slides on.
Yeah,
Cool,
thank you,
thanks,
Claire.
Maya, you
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, you can go. That's fine.
So, well, the Help to Grow program is a government initiative, and what we're able to offer at Solent is a program of scholarships, essentially, for businesses who want to really upskill, but also interact with other business leaders. I think that's a key part of the program. Is it's not just us telling people what to do, or the government even telling people what to do through the program. It is that conversation that we have with each other, that's really vital. And as Claire says, you know, one of the things, having worked in a lot of businesses that are very dubious about education sometimes, or universities, we have that knowledge, and we have an approach that is a lot more welcoming of business, and understanding that they are also here to learn, that they have those challenges. I work in businesses that have those challenges myself. So when we're talking about the economic climate, particular challenges around any government initiatives, or anything that's on a much larger macro level, those are things that impact my day-to-day life and a lot of my teammates' lives as well. So we're acutely aware of those challenges. Now, Help to Grow program brings in that knowledge, but also a framework around which businesses can focus on particular areas, and then be able to work with their peers to develop solutions. And I think, you know, one of the things that we do very well is that peer-to-peer process is really an open way for people to challenge each other, and to even help come up with solutions for other businesses. So that becomes a much more important element of the actual of being present on the program than maybe just the course material. And I think we all know that the more you put in, the more you get out of it. And I think if you fully engage with this process, the results show that people go on to have great success in a lot of the categories that they want to see a change in. So, for example, it might be around their marketing material. The reports show that businesses that have gone through the Help to Grow scheme will improve their market strategy, or have improved their market strategy, and therefore the results. So, you know, we believe that it's a great program, and just want to share it with businesses. I think it's, as Claire says, breaking down those barriers. It's almost becoming like a club where you can come in and you can talk to like-minded people and develop together. So this is an overview. So Meher, do you want to take over?
Yeah,
or?
you can continue. That's fine.
Cool.
I may
Okay,
at the end just add something at the end. That's it. Yeah, continue.
So an overview of the management course. So this is one of the gist of everything, and particularly when you look at the UK's performance against its international rivals, but other countries, we do have a bit of a productivity challenge in the UK. And what I know from working with different businesses, sometimes the people that are in the business really don't get a chance to work on their business. So they don't have a chance to work on the strategy. They don't have a chance to work on their planning, what their longer term goals are, because they're so involved in the day-to-day operation of the business. So what we're looking at here is the real improvement of those management skills, and the development of an executive, so they can become better equipped to deal with that productivity challenge, and therefore help their companies become more productive and be better, high performing teams. I think that's a real key, is how do you develop those high performing teams when you're in your own bubble? It's very difficult to be able to do that when you're just talking to yourself or your team. Sometimes being able to step out of that situation and have a view from the outside and a knowledge that, you know, is going to be challenging, which is fantastic. I think anybody who wants to improve is quite happy to be challenged or critically assessed, but positively. So how can we help to do that on the Help to Grow program? So as you can see from the stat there, over 90% of SME leaders say they would recommend the program to another business leader. And we think that's because of all of those things that I've just talked about, the peer-to-peer program, the ability to have a mentor. Mentoring is one of the highlights of the program, where you have that one-to-one honest conversation with someone who's not involved in the office, who's not with you at in the workplace, who can actually have those more in-depth and challenging conversations that you might not get when you're in the workplace itself. And then the other thing there is over 90% of SME leaders surveyed were satisfied with Help to Grow and how it was delivered from start to end. So over to you, Maya.
Yeah, so just to look for more information, what included in the program itself. I want to mention it's a practical one. I know sometimes the concern from the industry is that we need to go back to academia, we sit on table and we have a lecturer in front of us. No, the Help to Grow is designed in a different way. It's pure practical, and it's led by staff who have already experience from the industry. And there's no exams, there's no dissertation, there's no kind of writing, so it's pure practical. The output is a clear development plan and the growth plan for each SMEs. So how those can be done? So the program is designed in 12 workshops. This to take like a blended online and face-to-face at the campus. I will go with more details in the next slides for this one. You will have 10 hours of one-to-one mentoring and support from one of the mentors. And each SME can choose their mentors based on their preferences. They can choose someone pure academic or someone academic and from industry or pure from the industry. We have around 2,000 mentors provided by CAPS, and you can select some of them according to the SME preferences. Also, participants will get the benefits from being alumni. There's a lot of events happened monthly in person and online. They can expand their network. They can connect with other SMEs from other industries and exchange the information, the challenges, the solutions as well. The good thing from this program, it's fully funded now for this year. So it's 90% funded by the government and 10% funded by the university, by the business school. So it will cost each SME £0. They need just to attend and participate. Can you go for the next one, Claire, please? Yeah, so who is eligible for the program? The eligibility criteria, they are very simple. So the company to be an SME that have an employees from 5 up to 249 employees. If the company has from 5 to 9, they can participate like for one registration. More than 10, they can register 2 employees. And the company to operation in the market or in the industry for more than 1 year. And it should not be a charity. And apart from this, social enterprise, they are eligible as well. So the criteria, they are very simple. The applicant they need to be from the higher management, executive layer, the owners, directors, because this program is designed for executive management. And they need to have at least one person who was directed to them and a commitment to attend the classes and online sessions. Claire? So let us break down how it runs exactly. So there are more, we have more themes that the program focus on: strategies of growth and innovation, engaging with customers, building a sustainable and agile business, and part 4, operations and financial strategies. If we look for the left side, so each theme is covered by 3 modules. Each module is run for each week. So the first module and second module will be like online. The third one, it's a case study. And you can see module number 3, 6, 9, and 12. All these are case study. The things that have been the knowledge gained from previous 2 modules, it will be applied in a real case study from the industry. And there's many cross-cutting themes, focus on equality, diversity, inclusion, develop the productivity, develop like an innovative culture, enhance the internal processes, and being a responsible business, focus on sustainability. Yeah, Claire, next please. Yeah, so this is a journey for participation in the program. So first of all, registration, which can take only maybe 2 minutes, not more than this. Then we will check the eligibility based on the criteria I have discussed in previous slide. So we have 12 weeks. Each week we have a workshop. We'll have 8 online and 4 workshop on campus. Also, we have 8 group or workshop where all the SMEs sit together, they exchange information, and we have also one-to-one mentoring. So they will sit for 10 times with their mentors. So each week we'll have 1 hour to spend with the mentors. Yeah, Claire. So our program will start in March, and this is the time plan. So for each team, we'll have 3 continuous modules. Then we'll have a break. So it's very relaxed program, I can say. 4 sessions on campus and 8 sessions online. Yeah, Claire. So registration is very simple. So you either just click the link on this page. It will take like 2 to 3 minutes to apply. We will check the eligibility. For any SME, they want to like more information, they can contact me and Matt. We'll come back to them by email. We can arrange a call or a video call. We explain more the program, the benefits, the value of the program, and anything related to the registration. Yeah.
Okay, it will
I'll
be
unmute
me.
myself. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Isni.
So yeah, so I think I will start with a kind of like definition of what knowledge exchange is, because maybe not clear for everybody. So basically, it is a two-way exchange between researcher, particularly researchers in the university, and the research users. But then, they can share their ideas, their evidence of the research, and also the result of their result, and also their experiences and skills between them. But it also includes, the external perspective and experiences, they are brought into the academia. So it's from like the public to us in the university, or between them as well. So, between our department, we have a lot of activity related to knowledge exchange, and I can, show you, some example in the next page. So, yeah, next one, Claire. So as you can see here, then there are some examples that we done in relation to knowledge exchange. So help to grow a program that Maher and Mark just explained to you. That is one of the example. And then the apprentice scheme, we have some apprentice schemes here in our department. So we also consider that as a knowledge exchange, because basically we work with businesses, focus on sharing expertise and hit the continuing development target. And we also have an active participation and exchange idea in business networking. So we actively participate in the Regional South Annual Business Conference, and this conference focus on the local growth and regeneration. At Solent, we also have our Solent Female Entrepreneurs Network. So I run this network. So this is for female entrepreneurs in Southampton and also in surrounding area. So basically, they share their challenges in running their business. We also offer them talk workshops, so that it could help them to develop their business and growing the business. So the next one is on the 30th of November. So maybe you could forward this information to your female entrepreneurs in New Forest. So we have this self-confidence building talk. So basically to help uh, the female entrepreneurs to be confident on themselves, because this is based on my research. So that is one of the challenges, of these female entrepreneurs. They have a lack of self-confidence. So this is why, we have this event, on the 30th of November. And for our students, we have a mentoring, to our students. So this is through our business advisory board from our Solent Future as well as our careers advisory center. Next one, Claire. We also have our Solent Student Conference. So we organize this conference every year. So this is for our undergraduate and postgraduate students, so that they can present in a safe and nurture environment. So it's a safe place for them to share their research ideas and also the result. And last year we have quite many students involved in the conference, presenting their poster, presenting their research to us. We also have a live brief for local companies and charities. So basically, this is an opportunity to see, how student business skills stand up against the real life problems. So students have provided ideas and solution, which these companies implemented the solution that are given by our students. So as you can see here, we have some companies and charity participating in this live brief. SIP-Shape training group, so they provide marketing live brief for our postgraduate project. We have a Wolf Rock Boat Company for our sustainable strategic management module. The Dispute Service Limited for our strategic management module as well, and then Crossroad Association for operation management module. We also have New Forest Escape. So they provide live client international for our international marketing week. So not just for our student, but for international student who came here in the international marketing week. Last but not least, of course, we have guest speakers in our department events. And also, these guest speakers, sometimes they just, invited to talk to our student in our class. So for particular modules, for a topic. So these guest speakers could be from local companies, but sometimes they are our alumni as well. So we have successful alumni who develop their own businesses or very successful in their career. So we invited them to come to talk to our students.
Lovely. Thank you, Wisney. I think we're moving on to apprenticeships, but just for a second before we do, I think the important thing about those live briefs is we're regularly fed back by companies to say the ideas were so good they have genuinely taken those on into their strategies, or where they've actually developed, for example, we work with marketing agencies and the students develop the campaigns, they've actually used those campaigns onwards. So it's a really good opportunity for businesses if they're struggling with a challenge to actually have many, many different minds looking at it from different angles, and there's always something that can be taken onwards. Thank you. So over to you, Michelle. Is Michelle still here?
There we go. Thank you, Claire. That's it. That was me on mute. We do this classically all the time. Thank you very much. So yes, as I mentioned before, obviously I'm one of the program managers as part of the Business and Law department, and specifically I look at the leadership and management apprenticeship scheme. And we offer two different programs as part of that. Our Chartered Management Degree Apprenticeship Program, which is as us as the academics and the training provider, we provide the knowledge and the skill that is associated with apprenticeships, and in particular with the Chartered Management. This is aimed at early career managers, managers that are kind of sort of like starting to think about where their next step might be in terms of their career journey. As part of the programme, the part that we play is around the academic knowledge and then the different skills, as I mentioned. And one of the great things about the programme is that at the end of it, our apprentices actually come out with a degree in leadership and management. And if they're studying on the senior leadership apprenticeship, then they come out with an MBA. So it's great because there's an academic qualification that is part of the programme overall, but we equally work very closely alongside our partner, the Chartered Management Institute. And part of this programme is about that professional and very practical competencies and application that all of the apprentices are doing day in, day out in their jobs. And it's about validating some of that along with learning some new skills. And the Chartered Management Institute really is there to assess apprentices against the apprenticeship standards of knowledge, skills and behaviours. And they are awarded upon successful assessment with a chartered management status. And if they are a senior leader, then they're also awarded a fellow of the Chartered Management Institute. So in effect, they're getting 2 qualifications in one programme, which is really a fantastic thing to have. Thank you, Claire. So I think in terms of the benefits really of doing apprenticeships is it's a great way for organisations to naturally upskill their kind of colleagues in terms of those industry relevant qualifications. So as many of you can appreciate nowadays, all businesses want to have a degree of some form, and you'll see it on many different job profiles. But actually, we kind of need to take that next step, and the Chartered Management status through the CMI enables that. It's a way of scaling business in terms of that upskill of existing staff, but also using it as a way to think about the talent pipeline and also succession planning. And we've got some great quotes on here in terms of, from the apprenticeships, from a government perspective, 86% of employers do say that apprenticeships have developed skills which are relevant to their business. And it does that in a way because it's very much led by industry. It's informed by industry and, of course, in partnership with us as training providers and universities. So it's a learning community. It's a constant cycle of knowledge exchange, Wisney's just talked about, and very similar to Help to Grow. It's very much about people working collaboratively together, sharing best practice, talking about how things are done in their own business and their own industry. So actually you get multiple perspectives that are happening within the classroom. Of course, it's very cost effective to go through an apprenticeship, and it can be for both full-time and part-time individuals. So in terms of kind of keeping those costs down around training and development through government funding, this is a great way of being able to really upskill your workforce. Another great benefit, of course, is about driving productivity. And again, we've got a couple of quotes here, but, up to £10,000 per year in some sectors and sometimes even higher in terms of the value of that. Next slide, please, Claire. Thank you. So I mentioned about it being cost effective. So the apprenticeship programme, a government initiative similar to Help to Grow, and it works in a couple of ways. An apprenticeship levy payer, as it is called, is classed as any UK employer with a pay-as-you-earn bill in excess of 3 million. So a 0.5% deduction is taken via the PAYE of kind of that 3 million directly from or directly through the HMRC. This then 0.5% becomes the employer's levy fund, so they can draw down on that to upskill their existing staff. Now, there are some employers, of course, where that 3 million point isn't their reality. So they pay just 5% of the cost of the training, and the government pay the other 95%. So to give you some context around that, for a small business, for example, you would effectively be paying on average about £700 to put one of your employers through the apprenticeship. So it's really achievable and equally, as I say, cost effective. Thank you. That's okay. Thank you. So how does it work? So basically, apprentices must be employed in a role that will support them to be able to demonstrate and develop their knowledge, skills, and behaviours as managers or senior leaders. And they require that because they go through what we call this endpoint assessment with the Chartered Management Institute. This is the qualification and also the rubber stamp, if you want to call it that, in terms of saying that these individuals are considered to be competent as managers and senior leaders. There is a requirement for them to have what we call a 20% off the job training. So this is something that we ask employers to support, and it is really around 1 day a week of where they either come to university and in a face-to-face capacity learn collectively with their peers and with us. We also do a blended learning approach similar to Help to Grow, where there's an opportunity for self-directed learning or independent learning, and then we use technology to learn together online. I've already mentioned about the levy. The only kind of sort of like major thing that we do have to consider is, of course, people's prior learning, and maths and English is a basic requirement. If any of our potential apprentices don't have that, we do have that opportunity to be able to support them further with their maths and English requirement through one of our partners that specialises in teaching that for level 2. The other great thing about this programme is that we equally have we have 3 professional review coaches who are specialists in leadership development, and they are there to be that kind of guiding light. They're both coaching, mentoring, and really kind of challenging our leaders in terms of their own practice. So we have regular reviews, up to 4 to 6 reviews throughout the entire programme, and it's giving the apprentices that real reflection space, which I think is so important. Going back to what Matt was talking about with the Help to Grow, is sometimes you're in your bubble and it's very difficult to kind of sort of like think outside of that, and this space enables this for our apprentices. It is very much a tri-party agreement, a contract and a commitment that comes from not only the apprentice, obviously as the learner, but the employer is very much involved in this. We invite the employer to come to the reviews. It is about working closely with the apprentices in the workplace as well to make sure that those knowledge, skills and behaviours, if any of those aren't present with the apprentice when they first start, that there's a plan within the workplace to enable that for them. So it's very much a partnership, and of course us in terms of the academic input as well, and the skill sets. So you know, the sort of like success, I guess, of the team is very much spread across industry as well as with us is the training provider. Thank you. So in terms of our process around this, it's very much a kind of sort of like the onboarding and the recruitment side of this is about us understanding the kind of, you know, needs analysis of each individual organisation. We'll do that directly with the employer. Our business development team will have that kind of individual discussion. We can come to you, you can come to us. We can have Teams calls, whatever is most appropriate in terms of understanding those learning needs. For the individual apprentice, it's simply a CV, a job profile, but we do ask them to provide us with a skill scan so we understand their kind of baseline position where they're starting from. They then have a very informal interview with me, just to check that we're both happy in terms of where they are in regards to the particular programme, because I've often interviewed people for the chartered management when actually they're much more suited to the senior management programme. So it's really a bit of again, a baseline check. There is a signed contract and that kind of statement of commitment, which is something that we are very clear about at the beginning of the process, because it's a big commitment. They're quite fast-paced programs, and we do need to know that the apprentice is fully supported by the organisation and by their line manager in particular, because they're very heavily involved, as I mentioned. And then it's enrolment, induction, and we're straight into the learning, into the program itself. So thank you, Claire. So it's a minimum of 6.5 hours a week for independent study, the workshops, research and reading, and that campus attendance 1 day, every third week generally, because we offer that hybrid live lectures via the Microsoft Teams, using our 24/7, 365-day days of sort of like a year online. We call it Solent online learning platform. And we always have Friday as our delivery day. So it's just that 1 day at the end of the week. And very similar to Help to Grow, it's that opportunity to collaborate. It's the learning community. It's about fostering that network and sharing that knowledge. And again, all different levels that people come in at. I'm particularly proud of the fact that the team that work closely with me are industry experts. They've been leaders in their own field, and we obviously have our senior academics as well, who are experts from that research perspective. And then I work really closely with our training provider at the Chartered Management Institute in terms of offering further support and opportunity for them, the apprentices, to really be at their very best. So in terms of kind of next steps, really, we run a number of different insights webinars for businesses to talk a little bit more about the programs in detail. We, of course, can facilitate on-campus dedicated apprenticeship discussions. We run various open days for employers to come in and find out more about apprenticeships as well. Lots of information on our website, including more details of fees and funding. And of course, we have our dedicated apprenticeship team who are there to discuss your specific requirements and specific learning needs. So all of that information, of course, we'll share the slides with you later on, but all of that information is available on those links. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. And it is a fantastic way. I sit on lots of boards and roundtables where employers are saying there's a massive skill shortage, and the high degree apprenticeships are a definite pipeline for that. So for our last couple of minutes, just to reassure you, we are keeping an eye on the time. I want to introduce Dudley, who's going to talk about the civic engagement and business engagement just for the last few minutes of this session.
Hi all. So my colleagues before me have given some fantastic opportunities of the business engagement ways to work with us here at the university. So I just wanted to kind of cover a couple of the other pieces that we do to support the wider communities here in not only Southampton, but also the Central South region. So as you can see on the screen, we do have a civic charter, something that was formed in 2021, where we look to set out a series of commitments that you can see on screen. I wanted to just, instead of reading through what's on the screen, is just kind of give a couple of examples of how we achieve this. So one of them is putting an importance of public engagement, and this can be seen with our recent award of the silver watermark for the NCCPE engagement. So it's a fantastic kind of stepping stone for us in public engagement, with the aim that we implement that across the university, and with the hope that in future years we'll be able to achieve gold going forward. We also are in the midst of our University of Sanctuary application, where we currently support different communities who are residing here in Southampton, opening up the doors of the university to those who may need it, and also providing certain scholarships for those to study here at Solent. We are very soon to be announcing the award of this fantastic kind of accreditation, so please do keep an eye out for any information that we may put out across our channels on that one. Another way is our community collaborations. We work very closely with different organisations from that are based here in Southampton, but also that wider region. We have a fantastic partnership with Southampton Football Club, not only to increase the opportunities and learnings of our students, also to create pathways for our alumni and our graduates, but also to work together on community projects to support those in need, and those who are maybe a bit more vulnerable in our vicinity. We work very closely with the ABP Marathon and utilise our student talent to support those runners by utilising their talent, helping with massages and really supporting that local event. And then we also work really closely with the NHS partnerships, Michelle with the apprenticeships team, and across our health and social care, work really closely with the NHS to make sure that we're supplying as much talent into that industry and supporting that service as best as we possibly can. But I did mention about alumni, and that is really important for us, and we're very proud of our alumni and the successes that they do go on to achieve. So if anyone is sat on this call or listens back afterwards and is alumni of Solent University, please do reach out to us. We'd love to try and have a conversation with you and see how we could potentially engage to support the current student body, but by inspiring them, maybe support with our recruitment activities, and just help us enhance our reputation both locally and nationally. So if you want to find out more about the benefits that are available as well to you as alumni, I've put the link there on the screen, just quite an easy one to remember, solent.ac.uk/alumni, and all the information is there for you. There's also a form that you can complete, so please do keep us updated with your contact details. I know email addresses change from when you maybe started the university, so do keep us updated so we can continue to update you. And that is me today.
Fantastic. And I think the other area that Dudley's team works on is that civic engagement and community engagement. They do lots of open workshop sessions where we have guest talks in, trips around our maritime suite, etc. And all businesses, that's normally completely open to the public. So please do keep an eye on the channels for those as well, because for some of the New Forest businesses, that may be an excellent opportunity for onward networking too. I have put on here some just as a snapshot, email addresses of the people that have talked today, just so you can actually get in contact if you want to follow up on any of these fantastic areas that we have. So this is our point where I'm going to stop sharing and offer the opportunity for questions.
Thank you very much to Claire and all of the team. Well, that is an incredibly broad offering. So amazing, and well done for summarising it so well in the time available. So as you say, yes, let's open it up to the floor and see if we've got any questions. I'll start with one then. We'll kick it off. It is a very broad offering. What are you finding is your biggest challenge right now?
I think, I mean, I'll jump in first. For us, we have so many amazing programs that are, for example, Help to Grow is actually, you know, free at the moment for SMEs to take part in, but it's the onward messaging, getting that message out to small, medium enterprises, and also kind of explaining the value to them, because we appreciate whilst the course is on a scholarship, it is still time, which is incredibly valuable for senior leaders. But we really feel, particularly in the current climate, that moment just to kind of think about business growth and sustainable growth is a fantastic opportunity. It's the same with apprenticeships. You know, I'm still not sure that SMEs fully understand the fact that there's such a small amount of cost for the course. And whilst there is obviously releasing somebody for one day a week for a period of time, I recognise that can be a challenge, but the benefits of that within the business, in that apprentice then goes away and is developed whilst they're actually working. So they work on real life briefs within that, because everything around the apprenticeships is actually about the work base. So the assessments are all based on that apprentice's role, that apprentice's organisation, and the business project at the end actually looks at a challenge for that business. So it's kind of a double input for businesses as well as the apprentices. I'll leave it open for any other colleagues to kind of say some of the challenges that they feel. No, I think I must have covered it. So it's really just breaking, but it's also breaking down those barriers.
Yeah, I was just going to say one thing. Now, a lot of people always talk about how difficult it is to engage with younger people. Actually, I think because of the nature of our work, we actually have a lot of experience in teasing the best out of the students, and that's something almost like a side benefit potentially of working with us, is that you can kind of get a bit of insight into what young people are actually like, and they're not that different. It's just how you communicate with them is slightly different, and they're looking for motivation and purpose. So I think any business who works with us is going to be able to just ask a question about that type of thing, which I think will hopefully be beneficial to them.
It's a really good point. I've had guest speakers who have actually taken the 10 minutes to say, okay, if you were to come and work for my company, what are you actually looking for? What would you want? And that's been, for them, that's where the knowledge exchange piece comes in. So they've imparted knowledge to our own students, but actually they've gone away with a better understanding of how they might structure their own programs, contracts, offerings, because we know it's tough to get the talent, and that just gives them that competitive edge.
Okay, great. Thanks, Claire. Any other questions? Any more questions? Rob?
Yeah, well, first of all, quick comment on what Matthew said. It's really interesting, the comment about engaging with younger people. I've read in the press quite a lot that the younger generation seem to be very motivated by sort of higher ideals and principles, ESG stuff, and so on. And it's interesting to hear it from someone like the coalface, as you folk obviously are. My question was one of curiosity. I wondered what particular sectors. I know that Solent has been quite strong in the creative industries, for example. Also, my own partner actually studied software engineering as an MSc with you a long time ago. I wondered on the apprenticeship side, which particular sectors you found that the higher level apprenticeships have really taken off.
Yeah, I'll answer that one if that's okay. So, the nice thing again about that diversity is that we do see apprentices coming from both public and private sector. So it gives that real richness in terms of those conversations. We have some very strong relationships with our partners in the NHS, local councils in specific, Carnival Cruises. We've just recently got Specsavers coming on board with us. So, in terms of the partners that come and work with us, that is diverse. I think one of the other things that is a real positive is that many of us as ex-practitioners in industry bring our own networks with us as well. So something that, I'm incredibly proud of being able to do, and I know my colleagues have done similar things as well with their connections, is to bring some of our kind of sort of like ex-colleagues back into Solent. So in just a couple of weeks' time, we've got Heathrow coming back down to present a masterclass in crisis management. Having worked with them for a number of years, I think that says a lot in terms of the fact that they want to come and work with us based on the fact that it's a connection, it's a relationship that I developed over a number of years, and all of my colleagues do that with the different industries that they've touched base with in their own careers. So I think this community that we talk about is really quite far-reaching in terms of the different ways in which either we've got people coming into the classroom, we've got our alumni coming back in and talking to us, but also we're bringing our networks in and utilising that experience more broadly to kind of inform. So mentoring in many respects is kind of a given.
And I think, to Michelle's point, I was just thinking about through my time of running apprenticeships and kind of the industries, we have engineers, we have SMEs, we have childcare nurseries, we've had social enterprises, as well as then your big nationals such as Waitrose and Specsavers. So there isn't really any industry I could point to say it's particularly strong in there. It does branch across, which makes for a fantastic conversation because, of course, every apprentice comes in thinking their company challenges are really individual, and then of course as they start talking they realize actually the macro challenges are the challenges that everybody is facing, and that's what brings the absolute wealth and depth to those provisions. Same for Help to Grow. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so we've just got 5 minutes. I'm just going to quickly check if we've got any further questions from the group.
Well, go on then.
Go on then, David.
I've got my compliance hat on. A lot of this is all about improving your business if you're a startup, say, or you are working for a business and learning the ropes, as it were. I'm just wondering whether it be through apprenticeship scheme, knowledge exchange, Help to Grow, any of these schemes really, the extent to which you touch on these days statutory obligations that all businesses have to deal with to one extent or another, particularly in things like anti-money laundering, sanctions regime, compliance, and all that kind of stuff, which is crucial to the individual businesses, but I suspect strongly is often completely overlooked, but hopefully not by you guys.
No, I'll probably look to Michelle or Matt or Mayher to talk to that one around what we do to embed that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say what I always talk to with the students is that there's always a couple of different things running alongside each other. And yes, you've got these amazing ideas and you could do these wonderful things, but there's a couple of things that are always going to impact that. One is budget. And then you've got the macro and micro conditions, but then also the governance is extremely important. So in my own industry, for example, we are, well, the Martin's Law will come into effect next year in all music venues and music festivals. So if I didn't talk about that with the students, that would be remiss of me. And the same with other legislation. So GDPR, we obviously have to talk about as it relates to marketing. It's making sure that they're aware of the realities of actually running a business. It's not all we're going to get a Ferrari at the end of it. It's going to be a slog. There's going to be a lot of things that maybe it's not that fun, but it's important that you take care of it, because it may well come to either in a legal battle that you really don't want to face, or poor reputation amongst customers, and also poor reputation amongst suppliers as well. So it's really trying to give that holistic picture of it's really important to make sure that things like governance are done correctly and that you do follow legislation and you keep aware of it as well. And I think that's one of the things that we do in the university setting really well is open the mind to all of the things that would impact your business day to day. And that goes back to the Help to Growth scheme, the apprenticeship scheme, anything that we do. If we were to do research, what can we help provide answers to, or at least open your mind to other possibilities that you can't see coming, because we are able to look at those things that are coming down the line. And because of our networks, we hear them as well. I think that's the other thing that's useful about networks. You hear those future challenges from other people that of course we want to share. And I think that, you know, we're an open team and want to share that information with people who work with us.
Absolutely.
I think as well, I'd also add, you know, certainly from an apprenticeship perspective, one of the things that we talk about quite regularly are kind of hot topics that might be out in the kind of sort of like general media, but very much sort of like, you know, societal trends, things that are coming down the line, whether that is compliance or whether or not that is legal kind of challenges. A lot of our guest speakers, some of those are within our own community. You know, we have a fantastic law team here, and we often invite them in to talk about sort of like, you know, different legal things that are happening in society, new policies. In fact, Claire and I were only talking today about kind of changes in HR policy, and, you know, our own teams within the university are often invited to come in and talk about this, so that, again, we're sharing that knowledge, we're sharing that learning within that kind of wider community. And even the kind of masterclasses that we run with our alumni, it's very much about talking about those real world challenges, and very much about what are some of the things that you absolutely need to be aware of in terms of compliance and the kind of like legal aspect of things. So it comes through in many different forms, I think, is what I'm trying to say to you, whether or not that's us teaching it, whether it's coming through guest speakers, whether it's coming through masterclass, or whether it's coming through discussion. That does exist throughout. So that's kind of how we start to kind of share some of that knowledge.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. So great to hear all of what you've shared with us. So thank you so much for that. We are up on our time now. So just one last thing to share. If you haven't already signed up for it, we have our link